Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing good and studying well. So students, for today we are going to study the second chapter of the history section, that is the expansion of British power. This chapter tells us about how the British expanded their power in India, how from mere trading company they took over the politics of our country, they took over the economy of our country, how they expanded their power across India. So students, you already have studied in previous class that since ancient times India was an important trading centers, merchants and traders from across the world, specifically from Europe and Asia, came to India regularly for trade, and sub companies from different parts of the world that came to India to trade were Portugal, Holland, England, France, and Denmark. From the 17th century onwards, these companies began to set up their base in India. And one of the companies from England was English East India Company. The students, this company was started by a group of merchants, and in the year 1600, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth I, gave it a charter which granted the company the exclusive right to trade with the East. तो in the 1600 क्वीन एलिजाबेथ ने कंपनी ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को एक चार्टर ग्रांट किया, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट चार्टर the East India Company got a exclusive right to trade with the East. This means that no other trading company from England could compete with the company. That means कोई भी और कंपनी उस कंपनी से ट्रेड करने में compete नहीं कर सकती थी. Then there was an arrival of trading companies, as I told you, from different parts of the world. Trading companies arrived in India to set up their base. From the 17th century onward, they began to set up their base in India. As you can all can see over here, Fort William, Calcutta, it was a base of the English East India Company. It is Fort William, it is in Calcutta. So students, these companies that came over here to trade, they started to set up their factories, uh, uh, not because anything was manufactured there. सेफली फैक्ट्री उन प्लेसेस को नहीं कहा जाता था क्योंकि वहाँ पर कोई मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होने लगी थी, बट बिकॉज द ऑफिशियल्स ऑफ द कंपनीज वर कॉल्ड फैक्टर्स, क्योंकि कंपनी को ऑफिशियल्स को फैक्टर्स कहलाते थे. इस वजह से द फैक्टर्स दैट वर एम्प्लॉयड इन द फैक्ट्रीज, इसलिए उन्हें फैक्ट्रीज कहा जाता था. एंड दीज फैक्ट्रीज ऑल्सो कंसिस्टेड ऑफ ऑफिसेस एंड गोडाउन्स, एंड most of the companies, most of the factories also had the houses of the officials and residential quarters for the merchants and traders. Then there was a growing trade rivalry among the companies that came over here. कंपनीज के बीच में राइवलरी होने लगी, एनिमिटी होने लगी, एंड द प्रेजेंस ऑफ क्यों हो रही थी एनिमिटी? For the trade in the goods that are rich in India. As we all know that India is very rich in natural resources, in terms of natural resources, in terms of spices, cash crops etc. तो इन सब चीज़ों के लिए ही कंपनीज आपस में, क्योंकि कंपटीशन बढ़ रहा था ट्रेड के लिए, और जो भी spices थे, that were the pepper, clove, cardamom, cinnamon, and the cash crops such as cotton, silk, indigo, saltpeter. तो इन सब चीज़ों के लिए मीन्स उसे इन चीज़ों को they wanted to purchase these goods from India at lower price, and wanted to sell these goods and products particularly in Europe at very high prices. So this led to rise in trade rivalry among the companies. Then students, in a due course of time, इन कंपनीज ने, जो भी कंपनीज थी, as I told the name of the companies, तो इन कंपनीज में आपस में इतना कंपटीशन बढ़ गया, इतनी ट्रेड राइवलरी हो गई, दे स्टार्टेड टू एलिमिनेट ईच अदर, एक दूसरे को उन लोगों ने एलिमिनेट करना स्टार्ट कर दिया। और धीरे धीरे जो छोटी छोटी कंपनीज थी फ्रॉम हॉलैंड, डेनमार्क, फ्रांस, इन कंपनीज का एलिमिनेशन हो गया। एंड द टू कंपनीज दैट लेफ्ट ओवर हियर वर द इंग्लिश एंड द फ्रेंच. They were the key players and they started to dominate trade between India and Europe. Then the two companies, the English and the French, uh, the rivalry between them were started to intensify. ज़्यादा उनके बीच rivalry होने लगी, enmity होने लगी, and this led to a series of war between the two companies. इन companies ने ना सिर्फ अपनी factories को यहाँ setup किया था, बल्कि साथ में दे स्टैब्लिश देयर आर्मीज, तो उनकी आर्मीज आपस में उन्होंने वॉर किया। एंड दीज वॉर्स आर कॉमनली नोन एज द कार्नेटिक वॉर्स। और इसे कार्नेटिक वॉर्स इसलिए कहते हैं बिकॉज द मोस्ट बैटल्स वर फॉट इन द रीजन विद इन द प्रेजेंट स्टेट ऑफ तमिलनाडु. So the English and the French clashed thrice in the Carnatic. Carnatic में English और French companies 3 बार उनकी armies आपस में उनका clash हुआ है. And the wars lasted for nearly 20 years तक ये war चला है from the year 1744 to 1763. And in this war the English East India Company defeated the French company and it seized the power of French. And in this manner the way for the English company was cleared to establish their power in India. Then firstly, now students come to the next topic, that is the British in Bengal. In this topic we are going to know that how the British established their power in Bengal, how they started to capture the whole of Bengal. As in the early 17th century, the English East India Company was merely a trading company, as I told earlier. And in 1600, after the death of Aurangzeb, he was the last Mughal emperor. The Mughal Empire became weak and Shah Alam II ascended the throne when the British entered in India, when the British started to trade in India. At that time, Shah Alam II was the emperor of India, but under his administration, Mughal Empire became weak. And the company sent requests to the Mughal emperors for trade concession and privileges, as it was merely a trading company. But taking advantage of the weakness of the Mughal Empire, they began to intensify their operations in Bengal. And at that time, Bengal was the richest of the Indian provinces. In 1717, they succeeded in obtaining the right to import and export goods without paying any custom duty. 1717 में कंपनी ने they gained the right to import and export goods without paying any custom duty. But these officials also stopped paying duty on their private trade, resulting in an enormous loss of revenue to Bengal. Students, at that time, in the year 1717, there were the 3 Nawabs in Bengal. The conflict soon the conflict between the Nawabs of the Bengal and the company intensified in the first half of the 18th century. And Bengal at this time was ruled by Murshid Quli Khan, Shujauddin, and then Alivardi Khan. So they tried to keep the officials of the company in check, and soon Alivardi Khan, one of the Nawab of the Bengal, he laid some conditions before the company for trade, but as the company did not but the company officials did not accepted his proposals. Why? Because by this time they had become very strong, they had a powerful military force, and also they had won the battle against the French, so they became very confident. And now they started to expand not only that trade, but they also decided to annex the territories of our country. Then students in 1756, when Sirajud-Dowla became the Nawab of Bengal, he asked the company to remove all its fortifications in Calcutta, but the company officials refused to do so. So the Nawab sent his troops and occupied the company's factories in Calcutta. तो नवाब ने अपने ट्रूप्स को सेंड किया, अपने आर्मी ट्रूप्स को, और जो भी कंपनी की जो भी फैक्ट्रीज थी कलकत्ता में उसको सीज करने के लिए, ऑक्यूपाई करने के लिए। बट ब्रिटिश ऑफिशियल्स पहले से इस चीज़ के लिए प्रिपेयर थे, तो उन लोगों ने सिराजुद्दौला को डिपोज करने के लिए सोचा, एंड दे डिक्लेयर्ड अ वॉर अगेंस्ट सिराजुद्दौला. This led to a war that is known in the Indian history as the Battle of Plassey. It took place in the year 1757. On 23rd June 1757, the armies of Sirajud-Dowla and the English East India Company met at Plassey. The British forces were led by Robert Clive, and the force of the Nawab was led by Mir Jafar. He was the commander-in-chief of the Nawab. But he was not loyal to Nawab, he was not loyal to Sirajud-Dowla, and due to this, Sirajud-Dowla lost the war. He was defeated in the Battle of Plassey, and now he was also deposed and later killed on the hands of British. Students, the Battle of Plassey is an important landmark in the Indian history. It marked the first step in the transformation of a small trading company into the supreme political power. So, students, in this way, by uh, by by winning the Battle of Plassey, now the East India Company न सिर्फ एक ट्रेडिंग कंपनी बनी थी, बल्कि उन्होंने दे स्टार्टेड टू टुक ओवर द पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ आवर कंट्री एंड दे बिकेम अ सुप्रीम पॉलिटिकल पावर इन इंडिया. Then the condition of Bengal after the Battle of Plassey was very poor. There were many conflicts in the politics and economy of Bengal. Then this led to another battle that is called as the Battle of Buxar, and it took place in the year 1764. And at that time, Mir Qasim was the Nawab of Bengal. He was mere a puppet Nawab in the hands of British. So students, when the Battle of Buxar took place, uh, Mir Qasim fled to Awadh. He wanted to free himself from the clutches of British, so he fled to Awadh and he formed an alliance with Shuja'ud-Dawla, the Nawab of Awadh, and Shah Alam II, the Mughal emperor. As I told, at that time, Shah Alam II was the Mughal emperor of India, and they all three made an alliance. Their combined armies met the British forces at Buxar and on 22nd October 1764, and in this battle the Indian army was defeated, the British army won the battle, and uh, this led to the sign of a treaty. A treaty was signed between the company and the Indian and between the Shah Alam II, and by this treaty the company got the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. That means इस treaty के साइन होने के बाद ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को means they got the power to rule in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. तीनों स्टेट्स को कैप्चर करने का पावर उन्हें मिल गया. और अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट शिदाउद्दौला को वॉर कंपनसेशन भी पे करना पड़ा, दैट वाज 50 लाख रुपीज. एंड also Mir Qasim, the Nawab of Bengal, he was deposed, and Mir Jafar again he was made the Nawab. He was just a puppet Nawab. So student, the Battle of Buxar was a decisive battle in Indian history. The weakness of the Indian armies was thoroughly exposed through this battle. तो इस बैटल से इंडियन आर्मी की वीकनेस का पता चला, और ब्रिटिश आर्मी जो थी, ब्रिटिश फोर्सेस थी, उनकी पावर का पता धीरे धीरे. दे एक्सपोज देयर पावर, दे एक्सपैंडेड देयर पावर इन different in the rich states of rich territories of India. They started to annex that other territories of India. Now the condition of Bengal after Buxar was very pathetic. After victories at Plassey and Buxar, the English East India Company became the real ruler of Bengal. वही लोग real ruler बन गए बंगाल के. अब कोई नवाब के पास कोई नवाब तो था, that was Mir Jafar, but he had no power. He only had responsibilities. All the power and all the income got in the hands of British. ब्रिटिश के पास सारी पावर्स आ गई थी. वही लोग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को रन कर रहे थे बंगाल के, और नवाब के पास कोई भी प्रॉपर सोर्स ऑफ इनकम नहीं था. he had no power, no proper source of income, but only he had the responsibility. And at that time in 1770, in the same year, a famine struck in the Bengal, and but इस famine में नवाब ने and neither the Nawab nor the company helped or supported the people of Bengal. उन्होंने कोई भी रिलीफ, कोई भी हेल्प प्रोवाइड नहीं करी वहाँ के लोगों को. एंड ऑल्सो द कंपनी proposed a unique arrangement to run the administration in Bengal, that was the dual or double government. उन्होंने double government, and according to that, as I told that कि सारी responsibility नवाब के पास थी, कंपनी के पास का थी. The company had all the power and income. So in this way, the company, their officials, and also the Governor General Warren Hastings, he was made the Governor General of India from 1772 to 1785, and in this manner they started to further expand the Indian territories, and they started to establish the British influence in India. So now this led to some other battles, some other wars, as they started to annex the territories, important rich territories of India. Then in the kingdom of Mysore and the Marathas were the strongest rivals of the British. During the second half of the 18th century, the British launched war against both. Then ब्रिटिश ने वॉर किया किससे, मैसूर के साथ और मराठा के साथ वॉर हुआ मैसूर में. एंड एट दैट टाइम मैसूर was ruled by Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. They were the powerful rulers of Mysore. They opposed the British. They were very much against the British, but and Mysore was controlled a large part of the spice trade, क्योंकि मैसूर में एक बहुत ही पार्ट वहाँ का लैंड होता, वहाँ पर स्पाइस का प्रोडक्शन होता था, ट्रेड होता था. That's why British wanted to capture the Mysore. तो इसी वजह से this was the reason that they declared the war against Tipu Sultan. Then between 1766 and 1799, 4 wars were fought between Mysore and the British. In 1799, during the course of the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, the British defeated Tipu Sultan. So in 1799, जब फोर्थ वॉर हुआ, एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर, तो उसमें टीपू सुल्तान was defeated in the hands of British. Then he died on 4th May 1799 while defending his capital Seringapatam. तो अपनी कैपिटल को डिफेंड करते हुए he died on 4th May 1799. Then British also fought war with Marathas. The Marathas had become weak after their defeat in the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. 1761 में थर्ड बैटल हुई थी पानीपत की, उसमें मराठास ऑलरेडी वीक हो चुके थे इस वजह से. सो इस बैटल में मराठा के जो चीफ थे, ही वॉज द पेशवा, ही वॉज द रूलर ऑफ मराठा. Then the Maratha chief and the British fought 3 wars, and these wars are called the Anglo-Maratha War. इन wars को Anglo-Maratha War कहते हैं. तो in the third Anglo-Maratha War that was fought between 1817 to 1819, and the British destroyed the Maratha power completely. Then students, Britishers का यही एम था कि वो धीरे धीरे ना सिर्फ ट्रेड में इंडिया के डोमिनेट करें, बल्कि दे वांटेड टू रूल होल ऑफ इंडिया, दे पूरे इंडिया पर रूल करना चाहते थे. सो दे स्टार्टेड टू एनेक्स द टेरिटरीज, द इम्पोर्टेंट स्टेट्स ऑफ इंडिया. Then they expanded under Lord expansion under Lord Wellesley. Students, look at this topic now. Expansion under Lord Wellesley, that is between 1798 to 1805. So now in 1798, Lord Wellesley became the Governor General. He acquired territories through the system of subsidiary alliances and outright wars. Then students, in 1798 लॉर्ड वेलेस्ले became the गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया, एंड उन्होंने जो दो पॉलिसीज को अडॉप्ट किया टू एनेक्स द टू एक्वायर द टेरिटरीज ऑफ इंडिया, एंड दीज टू पॉलिसीज वर द सिस्टम ऑफ सब्सिडरी अलायंस एंड आउटराइट वॉर्स. इन दोनों पॉलिसीज के थ्रू उन्होंने इंडिया की ही एनेक्स्ड मेनी टेरिटरीज ऑफ इंडिया. Look at this point, the Indian ruler who signed the subsidiary treaty had to agree to the following conditions. तो जो भी इंडियन रूलर्स को सब्सिडी ट्रीटी को साइन करते थे तो उन्हें ब्रिटिश की कुछ कंडीशन को एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ता था. एंड these conditions, some conditions were, he would not keep an army of his own, he would keep a British army. कि अब इंडियन रूलर्स जो थे, जो भी इनके किंगडम था, जो भी इनकी डायनेस्टी थी, वो उसमें अपनी आर्मी को स्टैब्लिश नहीं कर सकते थे, और साथ ही साथ उन्हें एक ब्रिटिश आर्मी सब्सिडरी फोर्स जो कि उन्हें मिल रही थी, जिसका प्रोटेक्शन और जिसका मेंटेनेंस का खर्चा सारा एक्सपेंस उन इंडियन रूलर पर ही था. और साथ ही साथ और अगर जो भी पर्टिकुलर वो जो किंगडम था, अगर उसे किसी और किंगडम के साथ वॉर करना होता था तो उसकी परमिशन भी ब्रिटिश ने ख़त्म कर दी थी. Then the British officer, he would have to take permission from the British before entering into an alliance with another ruler or declaring war against another kingdom. यही बताया मैंने आपको कि उनको अगर किसी और किंगडम के साथ वॉर करना होता था तो उसकी भी परमिशन उन्हें नहीं थी. Then students, after that they slowly expanded their power, and I was explaining that how the British now starting to annex the different territories of India. Under the subsidiary alliance, the company signed the first subsidiary treaty with the Nizam of Hyderabad in the year 1798. Then in the year 1801, the Nawab of Awadh also signed a subsidiary treaty. Then Peshwa Bajirao too signed a subsidiary treaty at Bassein in 1802. Many chiefs of Rajputana also accepted the supremacy of the British and signed treaties. So with this, in this manner, the British became the supreme political power in India. That means all the regional rulers, all the regional kingdoms started to accept the supremacy of the British rulers, and that they realized that British had been emerging as a supreme political power in India. Then British expansion during the period of 1805 to 1848. During this period, they also conquered some islands of Southeast Asia, that were the Java and the Sumatra Island, and they also occupied the Singapore, Sarawak in the Malay Peninsula, and they also conquest the naval supremacy in the region. Then the kingdoms of Nepal and Burma were also defeated, and they also seized their power. They conquered Nepal and Burma. In the northwest, the Bengal extended their influence up to river Satluj. In 1843, the British annexed Sindh region, also that is in Pakistan. Then they annexed the Punjab, that is the present state of India. At that time, students, Punjab was ruled by Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He was on friendly terms with the British. He had built a strong army, and as long as he was alive, the British did not interfere in the affairs of the Kingdom of Punjab. But after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in 1839, there was a struggle for power uh, between the kings. Then in 1853, when Dalip Singh, the son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, succeeded the throne, the British defeated him in the battle and annexed the territory of Punjab in the year 1849. Then, after Lord Wellesley and the next Governor General of India, that was Lord Dalhousie, he also expanded the power of British through some policies. He devised a policy that was called as Doctrine of Lapse. As you all can see over here, he devised a policy called Doctrine of Lapse. तो उन्होंने इस पॉलिसी के थ्रू ब्रिटिश और भी इंडियन टेरिटरीज को एनेक्स किया. हमारे यहाँ के जो भी रीजनल किंगडम्स थे उनको अपने कंट्रोल में ले लिया, अपने कॉन्क्वेस्ट में ले लिया. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू द डॉक्ट्राइन ऑफ लैप्स, ये क्या पॉलिसी थी ये मैं आपको बता रही हूँ. अकॉर्डिंग टू इट, व्हेन द रूलर ऑफ ए किंगडम अंडर ब्रिटिश प्रोटेक्शन डाइड विदाउट अ नेचुरल हायर, दैट इज नेचुरल मेल हायर, his territory would not automatically pass to an adopted heir but would lapse, that is become part of the British dominion, unless the adoption had been earlier approved by the British. That means अगर किसी भी किंगडम में किसी भी रूलर व्हेन ए रूलर डाइड, कोई भी रूलर की डेथ हो जाती है और उनका कोई भी मेल हायर, कोई भी उनका मीन्स बेटा नहीं है, तो वो टेरिटरी ऑटोमेटिकली ब्रिटिश के कंट्रोल में आ जाएगी. दैट मीन्स वो लैप्स हो जाएगी. अगर कोई उनका अडॉप्टेड हायर होता है, कोई अडॉप्टेड सन होता है, तो उसे वो टेरिटरी उसका किंगडम का वो उस थ्रोन को असेंड नहीं कर सकता, उसे नहीं मिलेगी, बल्कि वो टेरिटरी, वो किंगडम ऑटोमेटिकली ब्रिटिश के कंट्रोल में आ जाएगी. स्टूडेंट्स, we can say it was a clever policy of British to annex the kingdoms of India. So through this policy, Lord Dalhousie annexed the territories of Satara, Nagpur, Jhansi and many other kingdoms under the doctrine of lapse. Then come to Awadh. Awadh pretext used by Dalhousie to annex territory in India was misgovernance. Students, on the pretext of misgovernance, Lord Dalhousie annexed some other territories of India. One of them was Awadh. At that time, Nawab Wajid Ali Shah, he was a Nawab of Awadh, and he was accused of misrule and reluctance to introduce reforms. Awadh was annexed in 1856. तो इस मिसगवर्नेंस के पॉइंट पर, इस प्रिटेक्स्ट पर अब ब्रिटिश ने अवध को अपने कंट्रोल में ले लिया, क्योंकि उन्होंने ये कहा कि नवाब वाजिद अली शाह जो हैं वो अवध को ढंग से एडमिनिस्टर नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, उसे रूल नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, मिस रूल कर रहे हैं. तो मीन्स ये एक्सक्यूज दे करके उन्होंने अवध को भी एनेक्स कर लिया इन द ईयर 1856. Then the structure of administration. In this topic, we are going to know that how the British were conducting their administration. उनके एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का स्ट्रक्चर का क्या था. अब वो इतनी सारी टेरिटरीज को, किंगडम्स को एनेक्स कर रहे थे, तो उसको एडमिनिस्टर करने के लिए कुछ अच्छी पॉलिसीज, दे नीडेड सम गुड पॉलिसीज, a proper system of administration also. So they formulated some policies to govern these territories. And the welfare of the common people was never a priority for them. Through it the company wanted, so भी जो भी policies वो adopt कर रहे थे उससे उन्हें common लोगों के welfare से कोई मतलब नहीं, कोई लेना देना नहीं था. They just wanted to expand their power. They just wanted to rule over the whole of India. जो भी पॉलिसीज वो अडॉप्ट कर रहे थे, इसलिए दे वांटेड टू इंक्रीज देयर प्रॉफिट फ्रॉम ट्रेड, दे वांटेड टू इंक्रीज द profitability of the territories it held in India, and they wanted to strengthen their hold over in India. So the British divided the territories they held in two provinces. Three of these were Bengal, Bombay, and Madras presidencies. And these presidencies were administered by a governor, with the governor general acting as the overall head. The district was looked after by the collector. He supervised revenue collection and the overall administration of the district. The day-to-day administration was carried out by four agencies, that is the civil service for general administration, the army to protect the territories the British held in India, the police to maintain law and order and ensure peace, the judiciary to dispense justice. तो इन्होंने एक प्रॉपर, हम कह सकते हैं, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम बनाया जिसके थ्रू वो इंडिया के टेरिटरीज को रूल करना स्टार्ट किया, उन्होंने एडमिनिस्टर करना स्टार्ट किया. दे लुक आफ्टर द टेरिटरीज, द डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स, और हर लेवल पर उन्होंने, जैसा कि जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम हमारे यहाँ अभी इंडिया में करेंटली प्रेजेंट टाइम में चल रहा है स्टूडेंट्स, यही एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम इट वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय ब्रिटिश इन इंडिया. ब्रिटिश ने ही इंडिया में इस एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम को इंट्रोड्यूस किया था, जिसे अभी भी इंडिया में फॉलो किया जा रहा है. अभी भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में डिस्ट्रिक्ट का ओवरऑल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होता है, दैट इज लुक्ड आफ्टर बाय अ कलेक्टर. एंड जो भी डे टू डे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होता है उसमें एक सिविल सर्विस का सर्वेंट होता है जो कि जनरल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को लुक आफ्टर करता है. जैसे कि हमारे यहाँ हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में डीएम होते हैं जिन्हें कलेक्टर हम लोग बोलते हैं. आर्मी होती है टू प्रोटेक्ट द टेरिटरीज, ताकि दूसरी टेरिटरीज उन पर अटैक न करने पाए, इसलिए दे ऑल्सो मेंटेन द आर्मी. एंड दे ऑल्सो उन्होंने पुलिस स्टेशंस बनाए, थानास बनाए, चौकी कहते हैं, थाना कहते हैं, वो सब भी बनाया टू मेंटेन द लॉ एंड ऑर्डर एंड ऑल्सो टू इंश्योर पीस. जुडिशरी का पैनल बनाया जस्टिस के लिए, जो भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स हो, जो भी लोगों में क्राइम हो, अगर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होते हैं, लड़ाई झगड़े होते हैं, तो जस्टिस डिस्पेंस करने के लिए उन्होंने जुडिशरी पैनल भी बनाया. एंड फॉर दिस दे स्टार्टेड द सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जाम. जो सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जाम्स अभी हमारे इंडिया में होते हैं, जिससे कि लोग जिसे पास करके लोग डीएम बनते हैं, कलेक्टर बनते हैं और बहुत सारे एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पोस्ट उन्हें मिलती हैं, तो वो सिविल सर्विसेज एग्ज़ाम को ब्रिटिश ने ही इंडिया में इंट्रोड्यूस किया. एंड दिस सिविल सर्विस एग्ज़ाम वॉज स्टार्टेड बाय लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस. He is introduced strict regulations for the officials, raised their salaries and linked promotions to seniority. तो बहुत सारे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस बनाए गए, ऑफिशियल्स को अच्छी सैलरी दी गई, उनके प्रमोशंस के लिए भी हम कह सकते हैं कि some measures were adopted by them, and also many bright young men were attracted to it to train young civil servants. Lord Wellesley set up the Fort William College at Calcutta in 1801. तो यंग जो भी सिविल सर्विसेज में जो लोग भी यंग लोग जाना चाहते थे, चाहे वो इंडियंस रहे हो या फिर ब्रिटिश रहे हो, उन्हें उनके पढ़ाई के लिए, उनके ट्रेनिंग के लिए फोर्ट विलियम कॉलेज कलकत्ता में लॉर्ड वेलेस्ली ने सेटअप किया इन द ईयर 1801. द ईस्ट इंडिया कॉलेज इन इंग्लैंड वाज अनदर इंस्टीट्यूशन विच ट्रेन्ड द यंग रिक्रूट्स. तो जो भी लोगों का रिक्रूटमेंट होता था फॉर द सिविल पोस्ट, उन्हें ट्रेनिंग के लिए, उनकी ट्रेनिंग के लिए इंग्लैंड में भी ईस्ट इंडिया कॉलेज के नाम से इंस्टीट्यूट बनाया गया, कॉलेज बनाया गया, जिसमें कि जो भी लोग रिक्रूट किए जाते थे, सेलेक्ट किए जाते थे, उनका ट्रेनिंग होती थी. So in this manner they introduced, we can say the English officials introduced many policies, they also introduced many rules and regulations. They also introduce the some effective measures to run the country, to run the states, to run the territories of India. Then there are topics given of army, police and judiciary. Students, as this is a lengthy chapter, I cannot explain each and every line. So you all have to study the whole of the chapter, each and every point you all have to read. And if you are not getting any point, you can ask me. I will explain the point. And because वीडियो बहुत लेंथी नहीं बना सकते हैं, इसलिए आई एम गोइंग टू जो भी टॉपिक्स दैट यू ऑल नीडेड टू नो, हमने सारे टॉपिक्स को एक्सप्लेन कर दिया है, जो भी इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक्स थे सभी। तो ये पॉइंट्स को आपको रीड करना है, समझना है, आर्मी का, पुलिस का, जुडिशरी का। और जो भी ना समझ में आए, यू कैन आस्क मी एट एनी टाइम। सो फॉर दिस चैप्टर दैट्स इट, ऑल ऑफ यू, गुड बाय, टेक केयर।